Hi, I'm Steve, the introverted traveler. I've made it my mission in life to explore the beaches, deserts, mountains, and even cityscapes around us, and to do so while avoiding contact with as many people as possible. And although I will never hang out with you for any reason, I do invite you to join me on my journey. Come and see the world through the eyes of an extreme introvert. On this edition, we are hiking to the Cloud Cap Inn via the Tilly Jane Trail near Parkdale, Oregon. Along the way, we will see summer wildflowers, cool wooden cabins, a historic inn, and breathtaking views of the Mount Hood volcano. All this and much more on this Introverted Travels. Greetings, and I'm back once again on yet another adventure. And this is like the fourth time I've tried to film this. The first couple of times you always, open up the camera and you say a couple things and, I'm trying to be funny and I'm not funny, I'm warming up. So I finally get to the point where I'm warm and I start making the video and I'm telling you where I am, which is in the Mount Hood Wilderness, in literally the forest equivalent of the middle of nowhere. Then I tell you what trail I'm on, which is the Tilly Jane Trail here in the Mount Hood Wilderness, and it is a trail that goes up to the side of Mount Hood, and I'm only doing according to all trails. And this is the part where I make fun of all trails, but not really, because all it said today is, it's a 6 and some change hike, which means it's a 7 or 8 mile hike or 20-mile hike, whatever, and it goes up the side. But there's an extension to that trail. You can hit another trail and actually go up about 75% of the way up to the top of Mount Hood, to the point where you can't hike it anymore. You got to do, specialized climbing or whatever the hell those psychopaths do that actually go to the very, very top. So I got to that part, and then I talked about the trailhead, which has about a 7-car capacity, and I actually had to park down the street because, unfortunately, there were about 6 or 7 cars there. Now, then I went into the introverted math, 4 people per car roughly, times 6 or 7, 24 to 28 or whatever it is. And then I lamented the fact, that I'm in the middle of nowhere, but there's people here, but I'm hoping that the capacity of the cars wasn't full and there were only a couple people per car, so we're going to have, less than 20-something people and blah, blah, blah. The same thing that I do pretty much in every video, because I follow a pretty strict formula when it comes to these introductions. So, as usual, I tried to open the introduction with a ray of hope. A ray of hope for myself that I'll be out here, by myself and I won't have to deal with the soul-crushing presence of other human beings. And a ray of hope for all of my viewers that maybe this video will be different and I won't be ranting and raving like a damn introverted lunatic about people the entire damn time. Well, that was a nice thought, because that introduction that I was like halfway through got interrupted by people. One person. So I'm like, okay, fine. It's one person. I see that person behind me. I turn off the camera. I wait for the soul-crushing, nightmare to pass. And then, I collect my thoughts and I turn on the camera to make another introduction. In the process of making this introduction, 2 more people. So even though I'm in the middle of nowhere, and even though I'm on the side of a damn volcano that still has ice and snow at the top, and even though there was about a 7-car capacity and it was full, and you figure that if it was full, everybody who's out here is already up, there are people coming. There's people coming up. Now there's going to be people coming down. So I have absolutely no hope left. My dreams, my desires, and frankly my love for life were completely shattered and crushed with 3 people. So yeah, welcome to the video. Rinse, repeat. It's going to be the same thing, but watching me break down every single week in the middle of the woods is kind of entertaining. So hopefully you're ready for that. Get your popcorn, strap in. And I'm actually going to end this introduction before more damn human zombies come shambling my way. But yeah, I'm at the Tilly Jane Trail. 6+ miles. It goes up towards Mount Hood. There's going to be snow. There's going to be volcano. There's going to be oohing. There's going to be awing. There's going to be trees. There's going to be bald, ranting lunatic. Well, most rational, sane, and logical human beings and hikers would say that that sign that says most difficult is referring to the trail that we're on. That this is the most difficult trail. My demented mind, however, looks at that and says, okay, well, yes, that is a possible interpretation, but it could also be a commentary on the personality of that tree. I mean, we don't know what the experience between the hikers and the trees are out here. You know, we're strangers in these woods. This is the first time I've ever been here. So for all I know, maybe that tree has an attitude. Maybe that tree has made it difficult in the past. And that is a label of the tree's personality. I mean, probably not, but the possibility is not zero. So for the sake of my own perspective, that is a very difficult tree. And it's probably kind of a dick. And since it's leaning towards the trail, I'm gonna step right over here just in case it decides to cop an attitude. But I'm doing this video just as an example so you know what years of, repeated mental health crises can do to an otherwise sane brain. I don't know, but yeah, most difficult trail, most difficult tree, and most ridiculous video segment I've filmed so far. Well, I would love to turn on the camera and show you absolute gorgeous views, beautiful forest, lush green trees. But instead, I am showing you evidence of why humanity sucks. Once again, we have found yet another burned out area that has been ravaged, yes, by a natural forest fire. And I know people are going to say, well, forest fires happen all the time. Well, yes, it's true. However, human-induced climate change, to which, let's face it, there is no doubt. A lot of people will say, well, there's no such thing, it's a hoax. But these are people that can't even spell the word science. So why are we listening to their opinions? But yeah, human-induced climate change has caused natural fires to now burn hotter, to burn longer, to burn with more intensity, and thus you get matchstick forests instead of luscious forests. And you get environmental rants by bald weirdos in the middle of nowhere who, talk to themselves on a GoPro. So those are two horrible things mankind has done. Destroy the forest through the burning of fossil fuels and, giving me a reason to rant even more into the camera and, waste all your times with my ranting. I don't know which one's worse, but yeah, this is the terrain that I'm currently in. As you can see, it would have been beautiful if it hadn't been for the fact that humanity sucks and we're a cancer on the planet, and you know the spiel. I've already said it a billion times. Okay, here's an update. So I'm way up here. There's nobody visibly in sight. So, and I can see, probably about half a mile down the trail. The other part of the trail is way down there. And yet, I'm hearing people who are way, way down the trail. They're being so loud that their voices are echoing up this little ridgeline, and I'm hearing them. Do I even have to say it? I mean, seriously, if you are loud enough in the woods that you are disturbing the weird bald introvert who's like half a mile away, you're doing life wrong. You're doing everything in existence. You're wrong. Everything about you is just wrong. You're just not in the right universe. You shouldn't be out here in a natural commons. We all know the speech. Being so loud that you are disrupting everyone. Now I see my ridge. I see the loud ass idiots emerging down the way down there. But they're so far away, I shouldn't be able to hear them. But they can't hear me. Of course, I'm actually, even though it sounds like I'm being loud, I'm really not. I'm right in front of the microphone. But this is what I face out here in the hiking trail. I face a group of people that don't care about, you know, the well-being of others. They don't care about, you know, why other people are out here. No, they just want to shout and scream about their favorite TV show or their family or whatever the hell you people talk about. I don't know, boring crap. But yeah, I can see them coming. And I knew they were here before I even heard, because I heard wah, 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 wah. And, you know, every time I make one of these rants, people are like, well, you should just shut up and hike. It's their right to do. Why are you? No. If you're so loud, you're disturbing people that aren't even in the same time zone as you. You're just wrong. You're wrong. I mean, there's no way about it. You're in the wrong universe, and you need to go back to Alpha Centauri in universe X2b or something like that. All right, so I have been for about the past 15 minutes in what I call an introverts standoff. So remember those loud, obnoxious people that I could hear for like half a mile? They're still back there. And usually in instances like this, you know, I'm a slow tortoise, so they usually catch up to me, and I stop on the side of the road and I squeeze my eyes shut and just hope against hope that the darkness and nightmarishness of human interaction and socialization slinks past me and into the flames of hell whence it came. But in this particular case, every time I stop and look back, because there's been times when I can actually see them, they're still, you know, quite a ways back there, and I'll stop and they stop, and I'm like, crap. And then I start and they start, and then I'll take a break and they'll take a break. So basically we just end up in this equilibrium of them talking and being assholes and me being driven totally insane by them talking and being assholes. It makes this hike impossible. I mean, seriously, this so far has not been the most exciting hike anyway. It's kind of dull out here, and then I'm constantly being bombarded by someone laughing and socializing, and everything that makes life horrible is happening behind me, and it won't stop. And this is the worst part of hiking, folks. You know, the part where there's other people out here. I finally found something to break up the monotony, at least. Now, what I was hoping, and this would have been wonderful, I was hoping that this was just a really fancy trail bathroom. I mean, wouldn't that have been awesome? That would have been like, I mean, look at this. This thing's, it's rustic, it's beautiful. It would make an awesome bathroom. I could be like, hey, you know, I finally got to pee in something made of wood. It's, you know, it's a wood cabin toilet. And I would have had reels and YouTube videos for days just based on the rustic looking, beautiful cabin bathroom. But no, apparently this is called the Tilly Jane A-frame. And you can actually make reservations. It says you can make reservations. They're limited to 20 overnight guests and may include multiple parties. Well, that sounds like a little bit of hell. It'd make an awesome bathroom, but it's a tiny building. I don't want to be in this with one other person, let alone 20 people and multiple parties. You can also just stop out. I guess this is probably used more in the winter as shelter, because there's maniacs that come out here when, you know, this place is covered in snow. But at least we get to see something cool. I mean, for the past mile and a half, 2 miles, all I've seen are, you know, dead trees and the, you know, broken promises of humanity. But now I get to see something made of wood that, you know, would be a great place to pee if it was. I mean, come on, people. If you're going to make buildings, at least make them have a toilet, and a cool toilet. I mean, a wood cabin toilet in the middle of the woods. How awesome would that have been? I mean, it just feels like a lost opportunity. This hike feels like a whole bunch of lost opportunities. I mean, we could have beautiful forests, but instead we have human-induced climate change. We could have an awesome bathroom, but instead we have a place where a whole bunch of people sit around and talk. Oh, that sounds like fun. Okay, So I'm going to read this informational sign to you about the Tilly Jane area and campground. But right off the bat, I mean, this is a picture from hell. I mean, look at that. First of all, there's a tiny group of people there. That would be bad enough. There's 1, 2, 3, 4, four people. That alone is, you know, like the flames of hell. That's like, you know, having to dance with demons right there. And then you get I can't even get the words out. I'm like gagging and barfing in my own mouth thinking about all those people sitting around communicating and socializing. How does anybody survive that? That just looks like a nightmare, folks. That just looks like I died, and you know, that's my punishment for all eternity. I have to sit in the campfire listening to whatever the hell these people are doing. But okay, that's just the picture. So here's the sign. The Tilly Jane area has been used by climbers, hikers, skiers, and tourists for over 100 years. David Rose Cooper was one of the first people to have an ambition to bring tourists to the area of Mount Hood. So he's the one to blame. In 1885, Cooper formed the Mount Hood Trail and a road company, and built a wagon road that runs straight up the ridge to the site of what is now the Cloud Cap Inn. The road was crucial in the development of the Tilly Jane area. A wealthy Portland banker, William A. Ladd, built the Cloud Cap Inn in 1889. Without the road and the Cloud Cap Inn, the Tilly Jane campground would be nothing more than a remote point on a horse trail. Well, that sounds like heaven. I mean, they're acting like that's a bad thing. A remote point on a horse trail. That's exactly what I'm out here for. I mean, I'm not out here for that. I'm not out here for whatever, you know, devil worshipping convention that is. I'm out here for the, you know, remote point on a horse trail. But then some rich asshole, William A. Ladd, decided, no, we're going to bring out the people and we're going to say hello and good morning to you for over 100 years. The struggle is real, folks. And I am happy to report that although I am not the first introvert, obviously, to be punished. I mean, it's been happening since William A. Ladd built the Cloud Cap Inn in 1889. But the movement is strong with me. I mean, I am the advocate, pretty much the only hiking advocate, for the remote point on a horse trail. We need more of those and way less of whatever evil that is. Okay, I don't think I can read anymore without, you know, wanting to throw myself off a cliff. So we're gonna keep going. But yeah, here's another cabin. The A-frame's down there, and we're headed, I guess, towards the Cloud Cap Inn. And I just have a feeling that's where all the people have gone. So we're headed into a nightmare, and there's gonna be whining, screaming, and complaining. Let's go. Eager to get it done. Come on, let's go. Well, here are the bleachers that we saw in that photo, where all the people were gathered for a camp sing-along. They're abandoned now, but I can feel the ghosts of socialization. I mean, imagine all the horrors that this place has seen. I mean, all the mundane conversations, all the weenie and marshmallow roasts, all the small talk, the ghost stories, the happy dancing people around a campfire. I mean, I've been to some spooky places. I've been, you know, to mine shafts and abandoned train tunnels and dark, spooky forests. We've run the gauntlet. But nothing is more terrifying than what this place represents and what it has seen. It has seen humans interacting. Oh. I'm sorry, folks, but I can only stay in this haunted ground for so long without getting like goosebumps. I mean, can you imagine if I was here when other people were here? They might actually try to talk to me. So, for anybody that was hoping that the landscape would improve as the video went on, apparently not. I mean, it's been a burnt out, hellish, you know, firescape. and it looks like it's gonna stay as a burnt out, hellish fire escape. I mean, this landscape makes it seem like the second term of Trump's presidency has already occurred. I mean, look at all that destruction and devastation. I mean, Trump hasn't been reelected yet, but this is just a little bit of a preview of what the landscape will probably look like after 4 years. I mean, just saying, he's an orange little dictator, and this is gonna happen. But yeah, now somebody out there is gonna go, well, this happened under Biden. Well, no, this happened under climate change, but it's gonna get a lot worse when things get orange. Okay, so enough of that stuff that's gonna make me lose all my subscribers and followers. But yeah, it doesn't seem to be getting any prettier. I mean, I'm trying, but I can't will the forest. I can't like scream out, hey, stop being a burned out hellscape and get pretty. It doesn't work. So we take what we get. But yeah, this is where I am. Awful, isn't it? So here we are. We have made it to the beautiful, rustic looking Cloud Cap Inn. Oh yeah, by the way, there's a giant volcano right behind me. And you know, I know that we probably want to look at that, you know, dilapidated wood inn that has a couple of plaques on it, but look, the clouds have finally parted and we can actually see the top. Now, this is Mount Hood, and up there, up in there, up see at the top of where the clouds are, there's a bunch of elite hikers and climbers up there right now going, hey dude, we made it to the top, yeah. Of course, if you've ever dealt with any elite non-professional athletes, you know, like super runners or super hikers, you'll know that they can barely articulate a sentence and can barely speak. So I'm pretty sure that more than likely the people at the top are just like grunting and pointing right now, because that's about the level where they mostly function. But yeah, that's the top of Mount Hood right there. But should we go back to the dilapidated cabin and you know, talk about the historic value? And I have no idea what the historic value is. It's cool. It's here for hikers in distress, I guess, or skiers or whatever. But that's a volcano. I mean, look at that. That's pretty cool. Now, is there any possibility in hell of me going to the very top of that one? No, I'm not insane. You've seen me on Flatland. You think I can make it up to the top of that thing? That's not a hike. That's just suicide. I'm beyond the end of the All Trails map. Let me talk about that for just a second. Normally when it just ends its map, it ends it in like stupid places. But in this case, it ended it in front of my favorite, you know, the trail porta potty. But I have to say, you ended it before you reached this point. And this is where you want to be. I mean, if you're going to hike this hike, that is what you want to see. Who the hell makes these All Trails maps? I mean, people say that it's like user generated, that it's like Wikipedia, you know, users contribute to the maps. What the hell is wrong with the people that hike out here? I mean, obviously, this is where you want to stop the hike. This is your turnaround point, not the freaking bathroom. I mean, come on. I mean, the bathrooms are okay for me, but ugh. The stupidity is indescribable in this case. But I'm glad I walked the extra quarter or half mile or whatever it was up to the historic Cloud Cap Inn right next to Mount Hood, because it gave me a great view of gave me a great view of Mount Hood. So yeah, seriously, All Trails, Who the hell is programming your maps? And what the hell is wrong with them? I mean, yes, I appreciate being left in front of a bathroom. If I'm going to be left for dead anywhere, in front of a bathroom is a great place for me to die, but you missed a couple of things on that one. Okay, enough about the stupidity of all trails. I think I'm done here, so I'm going to head back the way I came. Well, that's a view I didn't have coming up. There was a cloud cover, and plus there were people behind me, and I was just pissed off in general, so maybe I wasn't paying attention. But yeah, there's the top of Mount Hood again. It comes and goes, you know, it's like transitory. But yeah, at least there's something pretty out here. I mean, look at this. This is not a pretty part of the hike. But that, well, that right there, that's pretty. Here's an update. I am finally getting away from the, you know, climate change palooza, you know, climate change theme park out here, and I'm getting back into the forest. But yeah, I'm slow as hell. And of course, as per usual with my hikes, I'm in the meandering stage, and I just realized I'm slow even when the hike isn't that long. This is only like a 6.5 mile hike. I'm so slow, I'm pretty sure that the processes of both evolution and geology are faster than me. I mean, that volcano erupted 3 times while I was hiking today, and I was passed by 2 different evolutionary stages of tree squirrel, and on the way up, and then of course on the way back I was passed by a whole new species of sloth, and I literally saw it evolving as I was hiking. That's how slow I am, folks. All right, so I'm finally back in the forest, and I'm back on the final stretch leading up to the trailhead and thus leading to my car. So it is a perfect time for us to do our trail rating. Now, if you've never seen my videos before, and most of you haven't because no one watches these things, we rate trails on a scale of 1 to 10. 1 being the worst possible scenario for an introvert. That's Disneyland on the 4th of July. And that's the day when, you know, Mickey Mouse is on top of the Matterhorn. He's dressed in bondage gear. He is whipping Goofy for the entire park to see. The children are screaming and running away from Minnie and Daisy, who are chasing them with chainsaws. The parents are screaming and crying because they have to buy their kids like $40 churros. And it is hell, it is destruction, it is chaos, it is awful, and it is introvert hell. Now, that's versus a 10, which is introvert nirvana, introvert heaven, and that is the middle of a field in Antarctica, summertime, just you and a bunch of penguins, nobody around for thousands and thousands of miles. If I close my eyes, I'm there. But on those scales, 1 to 10, this trail rates actually today about a 6. Now, in the beginning, I saw more people than I did at the end. So right now, I'm actually doing really well. I've seen a couple of people here and there, but there's been no big groups. There's been no loud talking. It's been nice. This morning, on the other hand, is when I got into that showdown with the couple behind me who kept stopping whenever I'd stop, and so they never were able to pass me, but they just kept yak, 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 yak. So at that point, I was ready to call this trail, you know, Disneyland on the 4th of July. But that was just, I guess, an isolated incident because those people went away at some point. I had a little bit of solitude again. There were people up at the inn. There were bikers. But there were people up at the inn. There were people in between, and there were some people coming back a little bit. But it was just here and there. It wasn't huge, giant groups, and it hasn't been like the last couple of weeks where I've just been like people. No, there was some solitude to be had. there was some isolation, there was some quiet. Let's switch over and talk about our misery index. Now this is measured on a scale of 1 to 5. With 1 being a complete pipe dream, it would say that I'm not miserable at all, and that's not possible because I'm always miserable to 1 degree or another. And of course 5 being the worst misery ever, and I'm constantly breaking that scale. I break through that barrier. Today, in the people-y parts, it was a 3 or 4, 3.5, 4, somewhere around there. Right now it's a 2 because look at this. And by the way, you're probably hearing all sorts of weird bugs. It's one of those situations in which you'll hear the bugs, but you won't see the bugs. It's like the entire state of Florida. But Oregon's not normally like that, but for some reason, they're here right now, and they're like serenading me. But still better than people. I will take 1,000 bug-filled forests with weird bug orchestras every single day over a forest with 1 person. Bugs aren't going to ask me how I'm doing. Bugs aren't going to say hello. Bugs are going to leave me the hell alone and just make their weird noises. But forget that part. Misery index right now, currently, I'm about a 2. Probably got as high as a 4, but it wasn't very long. So let's just call it a 3 overall and say that this has not been a terrible experience. I'm absolutely amazed because usually when I drive off the main highway and go in the middle of nowhere, there's 1,000 people there. But no, not today. Today, we've actually had a little bit of solitude, had a little bit of happiness, but we're almost done. So I'm headed down this hill. I'm headed through the woods. I'm headed away from the weird singing bugs, and I'm going back to my car. So let's go get this done, and I'll see you in a few. All right, I'm about half a mile from the trailhead, and thus half a mile from my car, and half a mile away from my ability to get in my car and get the hell out of here. But that means that it is time for us to part and say goodbye. It breaks my heart, but it has to happen every single Sunday. Before we go though, let's do a quick recap. Today, I hiked the Tilly Jane Trail up to Cloud Cap Inn here in the Mount Hood National Forest. And along the way, of course, we saw this. We saw some lush, beautiful green, weird bug-filled forests. But unfortunately, we also got to see, what Exxon and BP have done to the other forest and got to see a whole bunch of burned out matchsticks. But we got to see some great views of the volcano. We got to see some historic cabins and apparently a historic place where people socialize. That was an absolute nightmare, but we'll forget that part. We got to see some wildflowers. Didn't see that many people, but more than one is too many. And we got to see where All Trails likes to literally end their maps. And it wasn't at the beautiful overlooking view of Mount Hood. It was literally right in front of the bathroom. So, kudos to you, All Trails, for, leading me to my favorite place. But thumbs down to you, All Trails, for being probably the dumbest app on it. You lead them to the viewpoint, idiot. It's literally a quarter of a mile up the trail. Okay, anyway, that's enough of that for today. But that was our hike. However, it is time for me to go. And it is time for me to say, stay introverted. And of course, I'll see you in the next adventure.